for it, find it, make it your own. It's the Get Thrifty Podcast.
Hey Thrifties, welcome back to the Get Thrifty podcast brought to you by ARC Thrift Stores. ARC Thrift Stores is a nonprofit thrift store chain, and I am your host, Maggie Civic, and we are all about sharing everything that has to do with shopping secondhand. So if you're part of our unique thrift culture, please contact us. We would love to promote your business and your social channels and share your stories and advice with our listeners. As always, you can find us on Instagram and YouTube at ARC Thrift. So ladies and gentlemen, very excited for today's guest. Jessica is a resale industry leader, president of New Source, and a passionate advocate for secondhand shopping and the circular economy. With more than 15 years experience in the resale and surplus apparel space, she has built and scaled businesses that turn excess inventory into opportunity, proving that sustainability and profitability can go hand in hand. From launching her own secondhand inventory company to leading strategy at a certified B Corp focused on keeping clothing out of landfills, Jessica has played a key role in the shaping of today's re-commerce landscape. She's dedicated to helping brands, retailers, and consumers rethink the way they value pre-loved fashion and why getting thrifty, we love that, is smart business. And we are super delighted to have her on the show. She found us and we're super excited. Jessica, welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Hi, Maggie. Thanks so much for having me.
We are jazzed. Let's start with the easiest way to find you on socials, because you have two places where we can follow and get advice and learn about your journey.
Yeah, so my personal social media is The Fashion Disruptor, and then our business is New Source, and our Instagram is the.newsource.
Easy peasy. Yes, I was so excited. I got a DM from you from your fashion account, and I was like, oh my God, this content is so great. I was really excited. So thanks for coming on, giving us your time. But I want to back up, because I know people that follow you already and that are going to be new to you once they start listening today. They're going to want to know how you got into this. How did you find secondhand?
So I was a waitress for a long time during college, and right when I graduated, I was going to grad school to get my master's in public administration with a focus on nonprofit management. And I had walked into a Plato's Closet in my neighborhood and just kind of loved the thrill and how everything seemed it just had a very eclectic look to the store. And I applied, and my first job in thrifting was at Plato's Closet.
Oh, cool. I love it.
Yeah. While going to grad school, I had found a nonprofit called The Wardrobe in Philadelphia. And my first job out of grad school was with them. And what I was charged to do was to open up a resale boutique that ultimately helped fund the organization with anything that we couldn't use for our clients. So I took what I learned at Plato's Closet. Yeah. And we're a social enterprise, and applied that to our nonprofit thrift store. And that's kind of where it all started.
Wow. And did you utilize, I got to ask this question because I remember doing my master's degree, and I use real world experience from there to apply to that. Did it kind of change your trajectory in terms of being involved in a nonprofit and going sort of a different direction?
I wish I had gotten on hand experience in the workforce before, and then gone and done my master's. And I also, looking back, kind of sometimes feel like I should have gone the MBA route. But once I started running that boutique, I was like, okay, this is basically like getting my MBA.
Yeah.
And I mean, you make every mistake possible. You learn right in the moment. And yeah, it was interesting.
Cool. Okay. Well, walk us through your journey into reselling and, how that kind of evolved and then turned into a second business.
Yeah. So after I was working at the nonprofit, I had my son in 2016. And prior to that, I had worked for, I would say, every thrift and consignment store that I could drive to. And I learned a lot from all the owners that I worked under. And then after I had my son in 2016, I was, you know what, I don't really think I want to work for anyone again. So I started a consulting business where I was consulting for local mom and pop resale shops, helping with everything from social media to pricing, sell-through rates, inventory turns, sorting, excess buying, the top to bottom.
That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah, that was really cool. And then I had a client who offered me a full-time job to come on full-time and help with their 8 resale locations. And every time I said no, they came back. And long story short, I joined like an 8-store retail chain, transitioned their entire inventory over from excess liquidation to secondhand within the first year that I worked there.
Wow.
And then COVID happened, and which I think is like everyone's story these days. There's this transition point right when COVID happened. And my team and I like kept going into the warehouse every day when the stores were closed, and we created this mystery box business kind of on the side while we were just at home not doing anything. And it took off. So that was 2019 when we started the mystery box business.
Okay, well, tell us more about that. People love a
Yeah.
mystery box.
Yeah, so it all started basically curating secondhand clothing by brand and putting it in a box. And I was selling it on my Instagram. I already had like the Fashion Disruptor name kind of up and running. And, we would have an Anthropologie box, a J. Crew box. And what we guaranteed is that everything in the box would be J. Crew, but it wasn't like you didn't exactly know each and every single item. But as a reseller, you would know you're getting a box of J. Crew that you can then list on your Poshmark if that happens to be a brand that you like. And as you know, like it was really hard for people to source during COVID.
Yeah.
So we had, this inventory at our fingertips and turned it into a business pretty quickly.
I mean, this is like a first for us because I feel like, we talk to people who are total resellers, they thrift to resell, and you guys are offering something totally different. And I find that interesting. Do you work with a ton of resellers? Tell me about your customer. Who is your customer?
Yeah, we have about 7,000 customers that are a mix of live sellers, resellers that sell on the marketplace, Facebook marketplace sellers, and then brick and mortar resale and thrift stores. So we have a pretty diverse customer segment network and growing.
Wow. I mean, it really is fascinating. I'm dying to understand a little bit more as you've grown this customer database since COVID. How did we get here? Like that, I think that's my question is like, it was like shut down and now people actually understand and care about secondhand in a different way. What do you think happened? What changed?
And that's such a good question. I think so. Consumers were shopping online during COVID. And I think that the Real and ThredUp and Rent the Runway, and Rent the Runway isn't really secondhand, but it kind of has a different consumer concept. I think that those sites got some traction during that time. And so when stores opened back up, maybe that switch had happened. And that's also right when like fast fashion started to take over. And so I think consumers like had a decision to make. Are they going to go the Shein and Fashion Nova route or, take advantage of these amazing stores that are at our fingertips that maybe thrifting didn't really have a great rap years ago. And now it is the cool thing to do. And secondhand first is cooler than retail first now.
And that shift has just been so interesting. It's been great for thrift stores, but you're literally like an online thrift store in a way, but in bulk. Right. So kind of, walk us through your journey of making the decision to build this other brand and, take it to the next level. Cause it has some really interesting, I hope we get customers for you too, that like someone from this podcast goes, oh, I heard about you on the pod and now I want to be a regular. So tell us.
Yeah. So because my whole network prior to COVID was all mom and pop thrift store shops, I had access to supply. Like I had people I could call and say, hey, can I buy from you whatever you don't sell, the things that you're passing on at your counter or that you have too many donations at any given time. And then I had developed the resale network on my Instagram account and was able to just kind of start matching inventory in bulk to what the resellers needed. And then from there, we started cold outreaching to brands. So like quickly we got into this area where we could help brands handle their damage and excess and returns. And so then we weren't just secondhand product, we were also working direct on brand contracts. And in that case, we could give resellers like, hey, this is repeatable, reliable inventory that you have to resell. Or a Plato's Closet who needs excess inventory because they don't know what's walking in their front door. We can supply them with Lululemon, on contract. So that's kind of how it all developed.
It really is fascinating. And so when you're sourcing, you're actually reaching out to these brands and, offering them an outlet that's sustainable. Is that what appeals to them? Is that part of the package? Or is it also like, just take my stuff, I'm overwhelmed?
So it's definitely a mix of both. I find sometimes I have conversations and brands are just want a set it and forget it partnership. Like they're not emotionally connected to the cause necessarily. And then we're working with some of the smaller brands like Spiritual Gangster and Tuckernuck and TA3 and some of these cool brands that really are way more engaged and they're real long-time partners with us rather
Sure.
than just like a transactional take my
Yeah.
stuff.
And they're okay with the fact that they know that this is going to go to probably another reseller that is a good feel for them.
So some brands are very into like brand integrity and brand equity, and they do not want
Sure.
their stuff online. And when that happens, we're able to handle those restrictions and say, okay, we'll just sell this product to our thrift store partners and it won't go online.
Yeah.
But what we're really transitioning to is like helping brands understand that thrift stores are the new age billboard in Times Square, right? Like a thrift store is actually a huge customer acquisition point for these brands.
Ooh,
Because
walk
we're
us
getting,
through that. Yeah.
yeah, like you guys as a thrift store, you're putting clothes on people's backs that it's exposing brands to an entire different network, an entire different customer base that maybe they don't yet have. And the entry point is because the consumer bought a spiritual gangster top at a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
And that's through your store. So we're really trying to educate brands, and like we coined it secondhand first.
Mhm.
It's how brands can come into a new market through our channel of thrift stores.
That's a grand way to put it. And the fact that, some of these brands are totally online. That's where they do the majority of their sales. Here is another option. Did that come into play as well?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just widening their reach and their network.
Wow.
Through.
I know I kind of want my ops people to meet you so that we can have a conversation, because you never know. We have 40 stores. Inventory is like the least of our worries. Like we are Coloradans are so generous. We have too much stuff.
Mhm.
And I guess that's a good question. What do you say when you're pitching a new thrift store, this exact concept, when they're like, I'm already overwhelmed with stuff. Why should I buy this? What's the pitch?
Yeah, so traffic drivers, right? If you can throw up an Instagram post or send out an email blast that says, hey, 1,000 items of Viore are entering tomorrow, or we're doing a
I would
Lululemon
be knocking
drop,
down the door at that
right?
thrift
So
store.
like, yeah, here's the thing. You have so much stuff. Is it the right stuff? Probably a portion of it is, but is it going to get more feet in the door? Maybe not.
Mhm.
And so that's kind of how we approach it.
It just sounds really smart. And you had me at Viore. I was like, yeah, just tell me where that's going to be.
Right.
And I love this concept of disrupting fashion. Can you kind of share with us your philosophy behind that? Because there's some meaning and some intention behind it.
Yeah. So embarrassing story. My Instagram before that, my handle was will work for baubles. And I was just like, and it was because will work for Chanel and like Gucci, they were all taken. And I was like, oh, I just want to be like associated with fashion and whatever. And
Yeah.
my cousin one day was like, Jess, it's just ridiculous. Like no one can even say it and they don't know what it means. So he helped me like rebrand. And we were thinking one day about, juvenile delinquents and entrepreneurs are really closely associated because when a juvenile delinquent hears the word no, they're like, oh yeah, I'm actually going to do that.
Yeah.
Right. Same with entrepreneurs. And like, I feel like what we're doing in the fashion industry is we're turning it inside out and upside down. So that's really where it came from.
Yeah. I mean, it really has changed this fast fashion and young people's feelings about it. Do you get a lot of feedback from your customers about, their anger of fast fashion or being?
Yeah. And even just people on my team and our CEO, like we're just very, I don't know if I would say we're anti-fast fashion, but we are like very empathetic to also helping the Sheins and the Forever 21s of the world still find a home. I mean, it's been produced. And so if we can help place that stuff in the right place, right?
Yeah.
Then we're doing our job. I mean, eventually it's all going to end up, unfortunately, in landfill or recycled. But if we can extend the amount of times it's worn on, then that's great.
And gosh, if you're selling it to a thrift store, it's probably getting bought and then donated again and possibly bought again. Who knows, even with the life of a reseller, I suppose that's possible too. They get it and it's not worth returning. It didn't fit right. I'm going to take it to my thrift store. It really is an extension of the product. It's pretty fascinating. Does it feel good to be a part of this industry? Did it ever occur to you that this is what it would turn into when you were like during COVID waiting for stuff to open up?
No, I just always loved the adrenaline rush of it. And I had always felt, even from my nonprofit days, that I was just working with underdog product. Like I liked the challenge of trying to sell something that somebody else discarded, whether it was a brand or a consumer or however it came to us. I just liked the challenge. And I never had a 12-month plan or a business plan or, when we started this. So sometimes it is crazy to be like, wow,
Yeah. And tell me about New Source, how people find it, how they sign up and all the different things, and about your, mostly women-owned business. Fantastic. Give us
Yeah.
the background.
Yeah, my whole team, we're all women. A lot of us have been together from actually my Plato's Closet days. So
Love
6
that.
people on the team. We've been together since 2016, and then a lot of others have been with us since 2019. So we're a pretty tight group. And yeah, you can find us at newsource.io, but our Instagram is kind of like a great place to just communicate with us back and forth.
Mhm. It's so fascinating to think of all these businesses that have popped up out of COVID and giving stay-at-home moms the opportunity to like keep their lives going. And is that a part of the conversation with your team too?
That was like my first tagline when I started the business because my son, I started reselling when he was born. And I just remember like schlepping him in the car while it was raining, or like the hardest thing for me to do over the course of the day was put this 10-month-old kid in a car seat and drive to the thrift store. But that's how I was sourcing inventory. And so when we created this, it was like, okay, stay at home mom or single mom or whatever, like you can source from home. You don't have to leave your house. As a reseller, you wear so many hats. If we can
Mhm.
take sourcing off your plate so you can focus on your family, or, listing and inventory management and whatever, shipping, everything else they have to do, it's like we can outsource one part of the.
Yeah, it's a fascinating concept. I do want to know, like, if you can back up and kind of tell us about, those days of you and your son in the car in the rain in Philadelphia. Tell us about the thrift scene in Philly. What's
Yeah.
the story? Where are your favorite haunts?
Yeah, the thrift scene here is good. I'll name drop some. So one of my customers is Liberty Thrift. They are a nonprofit and they have 8 locations and their stores are pretty massive. They're like, 30, 40,000 square feet.
Awesome.
In all of their stores, they have brand central departments that are our square footage. So we take like 1,000 square feet per store, and that's all of our inventory that goes.
That's cool.
Yeah. There's 2 big, awesome Plato's closets that have pretty high-end inventory. One is in Paoli and one is in Exton. And then a lot of small, like higher-end consignment shops. We have a 10-store chain consignment store called Green Street Consignment.
My
They're pretty
gosh.
popular.
I hope you guys are taking notes. This is amazing.
Yeah. There's some uptown cheapskates out here that are really good. So yeah.
And are you a fan of the Goldbergs? I always have to ask when I interview anyone from Philadelphia.
Oh,
Did you
of
watch that
course.
show? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always wonder if it's accurate. I want to talk to you about the hand-picked boxes that people can buy, but also pallets. I get asked that question all the time, like, can I buy a pallet? And we're like in Colorado, we have to be super careful about it because I always worry that these resellers can't handle it. Do you have a process for like making sure that the reseller is doing right by the product, or what does that look like?
So we work with a couple brands who we actually sign a contract with them that says we will do our best to make sure our customer is not landfilling what they can't sell.
There you go.
And that unfortunately is just a verbal conversation with our customer. Like there's no enforcement around it, but we are talking internally about creating a buyback program. So
Oh,
buying back up to 10% of inventory.
gosh, if you were in Colorado, I'd take it all for you for free.
Yeah. So we're thinking about that. It's just, moving clothing's really expensive, especially secondhand clothing. So it's like, just balancing all that.
And when is it worth it or not worth it? And your
Yeah.
carbon footprint on the road, moving it in trucks and all the things.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing is like, I've had these like smaller resellers, like, oh, I'll take the whole pallet. And I'm like, well, what are you going to do? Am I going to deliver it to your garage and it's going to sit outside and get wet and then the product's ruined? So it's kind of this like push and pull with that kind of
Yeah.
thing. But it sounds like you guys have at least a way to have a conversation that doesn't.
Yeah. And also, I mean, our main job is to support our resellers, right? And
Mhm.
it's important that they are profitable from what they buy from us, which would mean that their sell-through is high. So if I'm selling them product that they can't use, then like I'm not really doing my job.
Yeah.
And we have sorting technology that helps kind of close that feedback loop of like what exactly is coming through the sort. We collect attribution on like damage and gender so that we can make sure that we're not putting things that they can't sell in
Okay,
the box.
that's fascinating. What is
Yeah. So it's
kind of
called In the Loop. The woman's name is Zara that created this tech, and it's amazing if you want to look into it.
I'm curious. Can you say the name one more time? Sorry.
In the Loop.
In the Loop. Okay. So it's sorting technology that can do some of that quality check for
Yeah,
you.
so she actually created it for thrift store production. And then she's made a separate interface just for our business model because, the way that I'm going to sort is different than you guys, right?
Sure.
But it's very customizable. So if Anthropologie to you is a certain brand tier and price point, and it's different for me, like that, those are just toggles, right? That can be adjusted. You control the brand list. Like she has a team that can make edits like in live time. The onboarding
Wow.
was really easy.
That's crazy. So is it like a scanning system, a barcode system, or?
Yeah, there's an AI version where as you're processing it, the garment goes under a camera and it takes 16 items at a time, and then it'll upload it into your system by image recognition. We're not using that model. We're just doing the manual one for now, but it's pretty quick. It's like 8 seconds per item
That's not
for our
bad.
sorters. Yeah. But,
I'm gonna have to look into this.
every second counts.
Literally, yes.
Yeah.
And I'm curious, like I'm gonna have to look into this technology. It's so weird to think that there's this much attention on thrift. You know what I mean? On secondhand.
I know.
It
Well,
boggles.
and if you think about like what the tech would do for a business like yours, there's so much subjectivity in that thrift production. The way that
Mhm.
you're going to grade something is different than me. And we've both been doing this forever, right? So the tech just helps kind of at least set a standardized baseline.
Yeah.
And so that your customers feel that there's consistency.
Yep. Yeah. And there's like pros and cons to that, right? I mean, I'm sure our
For sure.
customers, what they love is that someone's making a mistake back there, right? Ugh, that's so hard, but I am going to look into this. In the loop. So fascinating.
Yeah.
So you do the hand-picked boxes too. So someone could reach out to you and potentially like say, hey, I need these 5 brands new with tags, and you can find that for them. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is interesting.
We're shipping out close to like 170,000 units per month in 40-piece boxes to customers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like mostly all hand curated.
Yeah. And is this something that the reseller is like talking about, or are they keeping it tight-lipped? What's the story there?
Resellers really like to protect their sources, which is a challenge for us on the marketing front. So we respect that. And as long as we just do right by them and focus on getting the best brand contracts, it just comes. Everybody goes where the good product is and honest business. So
yeah. And we're just seeing it change real time. It's like the Wild West, I mean, there's so much change in our industry, and, even us, we're being forced to change and develop and grow. And it's pretty fascinating. Do you, ship to all over the country? Like what's the best state?
It's funny. We do a lot of business in California and New York, like those, and Florida. Actually, we have a lot of customers in Florida, but yeah, we're in all 50 states and Canada, I believe. And we just did a deal with someone in New Zealand. So that was fun.
There you go.
Yeah.
I saw a little clip of something you were on with a podcast, this most recent one with the gentleman who was hosting.
Yeah.
He was like a therapist.
I know. It's so funny you said that, because when I got off that podcast, I said to my 9-year-old, I was like, man, that was not a podcast interview.
Yeah.
That was therapy.
He was so kind and generous, and just like everyone needs to spend 30 minutes with him. Just like,
and he's like very calm and cool, collected. Yeah, it's funny.
And then he comes to the Get Thrifty podcast, and I'm like, tell me about the weirdest thing you've ever sold, which is definitely something I want to know. Have you had like any strange requests that would be interesting to our listeners, like super weird
that people want to buy from us?
Yeah. Customers are so funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's always interesting to me when our customers buy secondhand intimates, which says something about that industry and how much value there is behind those brands that are in the intimate
space. Yeah.
Right.
How do they even sell those things? Yikes.
Yeah, I think because they're banking on, so like we'll sell 300 at a time, and they're banking on like the Skims that still has a tag, or like Calvin Klein's running pretty hot right now. And so again, it's like banking on what you're going to find in there, and not everything is a treasure for sure.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
Yeah.
The customers always just blow my mind. Some of the stories we have are just unbelievable. Calvin Klein, though, is it running hot because of this new show?
I don't know, but it's like going off the charts right now on the marketplaces.
It's got to be. So it's
Yeah.
that love story between Carolyn Bessette and what's his name? Kennedy's son.
Oh, okay. I watched
John.
the first 2 episodes of
Yes,
that. Okay.
me too. And then I turned it off. But apparently that has to do, and I've read this somewhere that Calvin Klein is part of that reason because he's, she worked
So
there for
yeah,
him. I
it's
love it.
crazy.
It's all connected, and we really
I
do
know.
have some trends. And you have to be like totally on top of these trends.
Yeah, I mean, luckily I have a team of people now that are way smarter than I am, and they're way more connected because it's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you got to go by what the customer's asking for too, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have thrift stores here that do have new tag items that they get from local. We don't have that unless it's like they donated it just like as an afterthought. But now you have me thinking that maybe it's something we need to look into a little more.
Yeah.
I'm fascinated with what you guys are doing. I love this, using this tagline of the underdog product.
Mhm.
Has that always been a part of your?
Yeah, but from day one, that's
Day
just
one.
always how it felt. I mean, I don't want to use that as a negative
No.
word, but so I always try to find other industries that I can compare us to, and I always go back to like factory pre-owned cars or like the car industry because I feel like that's the closest thing to associate like kind of what we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you can like pick and pull little things from to
Mm.
be smarter about, I guess.
Do you guys do any bric-a-brac or knickknacks at all? Is it all
So
clothing?
we get it. We don't do a great job of sorting it. If I sorted it out into better categories, I think we probably really have something, but
Yeah.
my warehouse is so full right now and
So hard.
it's just like hard to prioritize what to do every day.
Yeah. I'll be interested to see if you end up doing something with that. That's like our number 3 category. It's ladies cloth, number 1, furniture, and then bric-a-brac. So
Okay.
it can be lucrative, but it's so much harder to ship and
Yeah.
and sort
Yeah.
and store. I can't even imagine trying to store it. Do you guys
Yeah.
have warehouse space?
Yeah, we have 22,000 square feet right now. And then like embarrassingly enough, just had to take a trailer off site to store pallets in, which just is like awful from a, business standpoint. You don't want to be a storage unit, but you don't want to turn down opportunities either. So
Yep. Yep. Yeah, we sometimes get into a situation during our tsunami season. We haven't had a winter in Colorado, and we have trailers right now because of that. Because everyone's like cleaning out their closets like
no.
3 months early. We're like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting year with the weather. We'll see what happens. Is it okay to thrift a gift?
Yeah, for sure. Totally. If
Could-
not, then get different friends.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's absolutely true. Okay, no one's ever said that when I asked that question. And I love that. That's smart. They're always like, oh yeah, but no one's ever turned it around and said you have the wrong people that you're giving to.
Yeah,
I love that.
wrong friend group.
That's amazing. All right. How about your unicorn item? Have you have something that is still your favorite thing?
Yeah. You said something about, people relying on those mistakes. Plato's Closet in Exton, probably 2005. I picked up a pair of black heels and was like, oh my God, these are so cute. Turned them over. Red bottom soles, Christian Louboutin. And at that time, I was like, oh, of course, this was probably like a 14-year-old kid at the buying counter that didn't even know what that was when they were like $8, and I still have them.
Yeah, that's an item you keep forever. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hand it down to your kids.
Mhm.
Very cool. What about the thing you're looking to manifest? You trying to find something in your quest to save?
Yes. And I'm sure you probably have a listener actually that has them. So I'm going to give exact details.
Careful, they'll reach out.
The Stuart Weitzman 50/50 black Chelsea boots in a size 5.5.
Oh, wow.
I've gone through 2 pairs. I
Wow.
love them. I live in them. They last me like 4 years. Then yeah, can't
And
find
they're
them.
size 5. You have a tiny foot. Wow.
Yeah. I
That is
just got
hard to
them on the
find.
Real in a size 6 because I was like, maybe I can make it work, and I need a 5.5.
Yeah, you're gonna have to wear thick socks with those.
Uh-huh.
What are they running for on the real world? Real.
Like 180.
Okay.
I mean,
Looks
I
like
wouldn't
they're-
say that's like a unicorn manifesting item, but it is one of my favorite pair of
Yeah.
boots.
It's one of your staples, then it's worth it.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
what's next for you? Do you guys have any big goals as a company this year? Anything that our listeners can do to support?
We are in the process of like verticalizing our team. So having people focused on just catering to brick and mortar stores and catering to live sellers. Live sellers' needs are very different than a posher's needs. And so on the sales side, we're focused on that. And then on the brand side, just expanding the brands that we work with and really telling this secondhand first story and using that. Like a lot of times when we talk to brands, we're talking to someone in off price or liquidation, but we actually have this thought that maybe we get in with the marketing team and talk about like advertising dollars, right? Because that's what these thrift stores are to brands. I don't think anyone even knows it yet.
Yeah.
So.
There literally is a world of opportunity for you in this, because I think that the marketing could be a cool opportunity. That's going to be interesting. I'll be interested to follow along and see what you guys do next. What about anybody on social media that's like inspiring you personally or inspiring your brand?
Emily's, I don't know how to say her last name, but it's she does the Pre-Loved Fashion podcast. I followed her for years. I was on her that was one of the first podcasts I did. She's one I always like look up on LinkedIn just to see what she's doing. So I'm like, whatever she's doing, I know is cool.
Do you have an entire dedicated marketing team as well?
I have one person on our marketing team.
Yeah. And she does mostly like the social media around it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The reach out has to be fascinating though. I'll be interested to see. Do you have any competitors?
No, we really don't. I mean, there are people
awesome.
that like so we don't consider ourselves liquidation. So there are people that are selling excess product like we are, but it's just very different.
Yeah. This has a heart behind it. It's almost like a thrift store. There's purpose.
Yeah.
Almost a nonprofit in some social enterprisey way, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's fascinating. I love your journey and all the things. We always say that this podcast is like dedicated and devoted to normalizing shopping secondhand, but it's businesses like you that are going to make it last and last and last. So bravo. And thank you for your service to our industry. Very grateful.
Yeah. And thank you for having this podcast because that's so awesome.
Oh my gosh. We are so
voices on here.
Yeah. And we're so lucky we get that you guys let us into your world, you know, in some ways to resellers, you know, we could be considered the enemy. So trying to like hone that relationship and stuff and really be open to our resellers and give them a platform to share their journeys. And, you know, we're not enemies, we're friends, you know?
Right.
We work together.
Right. And there's no scarcity in this industry. And I think that sometimes
100%.
resellers and thrifters have a scarcity mindset and it's just not true.
Yeah. And that'll stifle things. So we try and avoid it over here, but you never know, you know, and things are going to change. I think that's the thing that I'm learning the most from this pod is we have a plan and we better be ready for a change and pivot because you never know.
Yeah.
Never in a million years did I think we'd be doing this much in thrift. So
yeah,
it's exciting.
Well, we would love to supply our stores.
Yeah. Well, now I've got to get you to my ops guy. So that'll be our next conversation.
Okay.
As we end every pod, I love to do a little inspiration about my inspiration, one Miss Dolly Parton. Thoughts, feelings, anything you'd like to say to her about the Queen?
I mean, she's awesome.
Are you a fan?
Well, yes. And I was just in Nashville a couple of months ago.
Oh.
So had to go visit whatever bar she has over there.
All the things that are there.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I got really jazzed, and this is a little before my time, but Miley Cyrus is doing her big like 20th anniversary tour, and she, you know, that's her godmother is Dolly Parton. So I'm sure she'll get some more airtime, the Queen herself, but she's truly an inspiration and a tradition for this podcast.
I just saw her on a billboard somewhere. I forget what it was, but I was like, why does she still look so good?
She in Colorado, she has these kindness billboards that they just are a picture of her. And she says, you know, something about the fact that it doesn't take any effort to be kind to others.
Love it.
Yeah.
So good.
Total inspiration. Well, Jessica, you're a delight. Thank you so much for joining us. Tell our listeners again, all the ways they can find you, ask questions, and, you know, hopefully be one of your customers one day.
Yeah. Our New Source Instagram is the .new source, and my personal is the Fashion Disruptor. And we're also on TikTok under those same handles. So
BPC, how's TikTok working for you?
It's good. We just started on TikTok. I had a great account and something it like got stole, like someone hacked it. So my personal account is like dead. So I'm rebuilding that, and then we're just starting the New Source one as well. But And that's more like really good education, just to
Mhm.
talk about the industry. I think people like that on
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah, absolutely. And people do get smarter about it. And thrift talk is real,
Yeah,
Hashtag thrift talk is a real rabbit hole you can go down. So
for sure. Yeah.
everybody check her out. And Thrifties, thanks so much for tuning in once again to the Get Thrifty podcast. A reminder, save our pod and leave a 5-star review about how funny, creative, and smart we are. And if you're part of this unique thrift culture and you'd like to be on this pod, you know how to find me on Instagram at Podcast with Maggie. And please follow us on Instagram and YouTube at Arc Thrift, and now on TikTok at Arc Thrift Stores. Thanks so much and have a wonderful week.
Hunt for it, find it, make it your own. It's the Get Thrifty Podcast.